All right, guys, welcome back to Elevate Paso. We have found our way down with Chuck DeBroder. Chuck, how are you, brother?
Hey, Caleb. I'm excellent. I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here because the title of the show is to elevate El Paso, and that's what we need to do, right?
Exactly, and that is the whole purpose of this show. So we're trying to get to the point where it becomes a movement and everybody is encouraged to raise the quality of life, not just of themselves, but their neighbors as well. And as we all know, Chuck has been a part of El Paso history. He is iconic to us. And I think it's very much worth to listen to a little bit of what you have to say,
Sure.
A little bit of your experience of being in town. Tell us a little bit. First of all, I want to start with how you got into doing weather.
Well, I'm from Denver, Colorado originally. And, you know, my mom is what got me into weather. I went back after my first degree, and I got a degree in broadcasting and PR. I did radio, and you really don't make a lot of money in radio. I did corporate public relations for Adolph Coors Company. And sometimes in PR, you're not really telling the truth. It's a severe modification of the truth. So I said, hey, I love weather. Why do I love weather? I go home, my mom watches every weathercast on every news station in all of Denver all day long. And it affected me, and it stuck in the back of my head, and then I was amazed. I grew up next to the Rocky Mountain foothills. My parents' house looks right at Red Rocks Amphitheater, the best outdoor concert venue in the world. And you can't see any weather until it's right on top of you when it comes from the west. And so I was always amazed by lightning, by snow that can pile up for 3, 4, 5 feet. Nice. A couple snowstorms. You go to the front door. No, I'm going to have to go out the garage because the snow drift has drifted up the front door. So,
fortunately, we don't have to deal with too much of that in El Paso.
and that's why I love it here. And I've wimped out weather-wise, cold weather-wise. I go back to Colorado. Sometimes I forget a jacket because it's so nice here.
Right. So, Chuck, you went from Colorado, you come down to El Paso, and you start giving the weather. 18, 20 years later, you are basically an icon to this city. Tell us a little bit about your experience of El Paso from your perspective.
Yeah, May 29th, 1995. I came here when I was 10 years old, a child prodigy. No, that's what I tell everybody. But that's when I came here 23 years ago, over 23 years. And, I've seen El Paso change.
Yeah.
We're slow to change. You've heard the saying, land of mañana. Well, we're easy going, especially with our I-10 project that we have going on construction-wise. But eventually we get things done. And we have had a couple multimillionaires, a billionaire and Paul Foster, to really motivate in remodeling the downtown. The city leaders have gotten on board and given some tax breaks to get things going quicker. The new West Star Tower is going to be built quicker than the stadium or San Jacinto Plaza, which
we hope.
But it looks like it's going up quick. And El Paso's changing, and we have turned overnight, it seems like, into a bigger city. Now, we're still the biggest small town in America.
That's right.
Everybody knows somebody's cousin who knows you, and that's cool. And it's part of the culture here, too, which I love.
Yeah, without a doubt, everybody in El Paso knows each other by third party. So with your progress in your career, there must have been so many challenges you faced. Tell us a little bit about that determination. Tell us of those keys to succeed for anyone.
Yeah, first is practice. People told me, oh, you can't be on TV or whatever. And when people tell you, you can't, use that as a motivator.
That's
because
right.
You can do anything you set your mind to, and that's the key. I love the power of the mind. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, but you plant something in your subconscious, you're going to eventually be drawn to that and attract that into your life. And it's long before The Secret, people have found this out, that, hey, I want to be a TV weatherman. What do I need to do? I recorded the TV weatherman. I put them on VHS tape from years ago, and I loved when they were on live shots. I stood in front of the TV and I pretended I was doing weather. So the first key is to practice, and that is a key to success. I tell students that I speak to, can you imagine, someone says, oh, I like basketball. Can you imagine if you practiced basketball 6 hours, 8 hours a day? How good would you be?
Right.
And they're like, oh, wow, is it that simple? Well, yeah, that's part of it. But then it's persistence is another key to my success, is you have to keep doing what you're doing. And I would drive around, I'd knock on news directors' doors, they'd see my tape that I made as an intern. I interned at CBS, NBC, and ABC in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Colorado, made tapes, and they're like, Chuck, you're good. Where are you working now? And I'm like, I do the best weathercast every night out of my living room in Pueblo, Colorado, you know? And they're like, no, really? I went into one station, and the chief meteorologist went into the GM's office and asked for a pay raise because he thought I was being brought in to get his job. I'm like, I'm in no position to get your job. I just want any job. And in Lubbock, I made $8 an hour. I made a minimum wage. So I had to continue working at Chili's. So, you know, come up to the table, hey, how about a top shelf margarita and an onion blossom? And they're like, Chuck, I love your weather. I'm like, how do you like your fajitas? Right. I got to pay 2 college degrees, got to pay rent and pay my bills. And then eventually El Paso called me and said, how would you like 2.5 times the money you're making at both jobs to move here? And I said, I always loved El Paso. And
love it
I
even
came
more.
here, yeah. So, but, you know, seeing the city grow, we're growing with it. But also, we're growing in the media. And that's what you're doing with your website, with social media now. There's multiple ways to watch your program, Elevate El Paso. And, you know, that's where it's at now. Everybody's on the go.
And so now that we've touched on that, tell us a little bit about your website and how that's going. I know there's some big plans up ahead.
Yeah, ChuckDeBroder.com and Chuck DeBroder YouTube. Go there, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps me out a lot. Thank you. And Chuck DeBroder, Certified Meteorologist on Facebook, WX Chuck on Instagram, Chuck DeBroder on Twitter. But what we've discovered, Twitter moments, Instagram stories, Instagram TV, Facebook TV, that's where the eyes have gone now. You know, not just the feeds. We kind of go to the feed and then we see that video of that cute dog or kid, and then we click on that. It takes you into Instagram TV, and that's where my daily weather videos of my weather graphics are made. Twice a day, we post in the morning and the evening. And my wife, Rosario, she does all the weather graphics, makes the graphics look as good as any TV station. And I do all the forecasting. And I spend more time now forecasting like I should than I did in TV, because in TV, your energies are scattered many places.
Without a doubt. So we see that your website is definitely expanding. It's something that the majority of El Pasoans are now tuning in there as opposed to anywhere else. Tell me what the next big plan is.
Next big plan is I want to do video weather. First, once a day, and then more so. I'd love to interview people like yourself. I'm going to invite you on my interview show here.
There you go. You guys heard it.
There we go, right here. And I interviewed Joe Lujan, who's a El Pasoan, born and raised, and now is a feature film director and has done horror movies and sci-fi. Immortal Wars, The Resurgence is his new one. And my voice comes out in it. And that's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
And then he's going to put me in a horror movie. I said, at least let me live for the first 15, 30 minutes of the movie and don't kill me off.
Right. So Chuck, moving on to a slightly different subject. I often talk to the younger crowd. I'm involved with the Boys and Girls Club. What message would I relate to them from you?
Well, practice, persistence, and the third is enthusiasm. You know, you can see a movie and say, oh, this movie was great, you know, this thing blew up, and everybody's like, oh, okay. But you're like, oh my God, I saw this movie last night. You have to go see it. Right. It's phenomenal. You know, the guy's running, Matt Damon, all of a sudden everything's blowing up, and he doesn't blow up. It's amazing. You know, but if enthusiasm sells. There was a speaker, my dad had a cassette tape, and his name was Tom Shaw. And I've looked for him, I can't find him, but he was a country boy. You know, he didn't have much formal education. You know, he said he liked the third grade because he did that 3 times, you know, and he didn't have a college degree.
Yeah.
He says, you know, I'm succeeding, but I'm telling you folks right now, I ain't got none. I ain't got none in the way of a college degree, but it has nothing to do with the degree. In a lot of cases is a key that turns a door, but it doesn't matter what college you go to. It matters what's in here. It matters for the enthusiasm that you have when you go into an interview.
And so you're a perfect example of when that storm comes, those situations come that we feel it's the end of the world, and then we quickly realize that that's the best thing that could have happened to us. But in the moment, how do you keep that enthusiasm?
Well, you know, it's tough at sometimes, and we all want to abuse ourselves in many ways. And, you know, that's one thing that I've had to relearn a few times in my life, and I'm still learning, to, it's all up here. You know, through hypnosis, I can hypnotize you right now and make you feel like you're high or you're drunk. You don't need the substance to do that. You don't need that. So don't punish yourself when bad things happen, because that's part of life. Because out of everything bad, there's something good. What you have to do is sit down, write a list of 5 things that was good. And 23 years of 4 months of TV, I finally got Christmas off. I got to spend Christmas off. I finally got weekends. I'm not working 12-hour days, you know. When I worked the morning show, literally, I feel for the people that work the morning shows.
Yeah.
Because I would slap myself, have to eat things, driving from the TV station to the west side 17 minutes without falling asleep, because I got up at, you know, 1:32 in the morning to go to work, and it's daylight and I'm going to fall asleep. And then eventually, you know, then sometimes I'd wake up the same day that I worked and look, and it said 5:30 on my alarm clock. Well, it was the same day, but I thought it was the next day. So I'd get up and then I wouldn't think about it and wake up until I was in the shower for the second time that day going, oh, it's the same day. That's not healthy. You do something you enjoy, and there's always going to be, as my grandma said, nice people and not so nice people in the world. Stick around with the nice people. Just say, hey, you know, and be workable with the not so nice people as much as you can, but don't let it affect you.
And so you've created a list of at least 5 things that you are grateful for, that you are happy for, and this would you use as your foundation to continue to move forward and keep that enthusiasm?
Yes.
And this is a daily list?
And one of the lists of a permanent list is living here in El Paso in the borderland. I'm at Juarez, you know, despite what people say, most large and mid-sized American cities are more dangerous than Juarez. Yeah, you know, but I love the culture, I love the food, I love the desert landscape. We have the best sunsets and sunrises in the world, all based on dirt, sea salt, and pollution.
Yeah.
Those are effective scatterers of light, and that's why we have the multiple colors, because of the scattering of light, the last rays of the day, or the first rays of the day scattering through the atmosphere. So to see that in the desert, we have plenty of dust, which we'll see again coming up a couple times as we get into the windy season for sure this week. But yeah, I love being here. I love the people. And then I'm grateful, number one, for my health. You know, what was it, 5 years ago? My wife's over there, that I almost left the planet. You know, I caught a strep virus, gained 100 pounds in water weight. My foot size tripled. And she was walking me from the weather center to the weather wall. And the TV station was still making me work. I was out of breath. No doctors could figure it out. Finally, the best cardiac surgeon in Mexico, I was in Angels Hospital in Juarez, said in Spanish, oh, this guy's dying. He's in congestive heart failure. Oh, great. So we rush over here to Sierra, because that's the only place my insurance would pay most all of it. And so the cardiologist is like, Chuck, why didn't you see me a couple days ago? And she hears him in the hall saying, hey, we don't know if he's going to live the weekend, because the water weight was crushing my and causing my lungs, my liver, my kidneys to fail because of the water weight. So they drain more water out, put in a forever filter so no clots could give me a heart attack or stroke. And then I had open heart surgery. And they used all my own parts. They took 3 mitral valve doors that had blown, put them into one. I have the blood pressure when I was 18. So, and my wife reminds me, because I take it for granted, we all do. Once we're feeling good, we take our health for granted. I work out 2-3 times a week is my goal. 3 hours a week, that's all you need to work out, and then your muscles repair. But you have to move. You have to exercise the brain and exercise the body a little bit too.
Without a doubt. Chuck, we are unfortunately out of time.
Okay.
But I thank you so much for being here, and I really hope that we're able to do it again.
Okay. Hey,
Thank
practice, persistence, and enthusiasm, and elevate El Paso, all of us.
Thank you.